Hey YouTube,
Hey,
my name is Justin,
my name is Shay.
and this is Just Invest. Welcome back, or welcome to the channel, whichever one. So, we made a video about VOO and VTI, and today we're going to go a little bit more in depth. In this video, we're going to talk about VOO, and then next we can talk about VTI. So, let's talk a little bit more about VOO now, without further ado. So, VOO is an investment that tracks the overall performance of the S&P 500. What is the S&P 500? Well, it is a stock market index that measures the performance of 500 of the largest companies in the United States. So essentially, to break that down, the S&P 500 is just the collection of all of those stocks together that track their performance, the largest 500. If you want to get technical, it's about 512, I believe. So it's a little bit over 500, but it tracks the largest companies in the United States. And so essentially, VOO is supposed to mimic the performance of the S&P 500. So if you're investing in VOO, you're investing in the S&P 500, which is a very well diversified investment that anybody should be making, can and should be making. So that is a breakdown of what it is in its entirety. There's a lot more information. So let's look up some of its holdings. Let's look up the top 10, for example. So starting off with number 1, the largest holding of VOO is
Apple Inc. Corp. Let's say Apple Inc.
Okay, Apple. And that is roughly 6%. So if you invest in VOO, 6% of your money is going straight into Apple. What's number 2?
Number 2 is Microsoft Corp.
Yep, and that's about 5.4%. So 5% is going straight into Microsoft.
The next one is Amazon Inc.
And that is at 4%, 4.1%. So 4% going straight into Amazon.
And next is Facebook Inc. A.
Yep, that's at 1.9%.
The next two are Alphabet Inc.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is A. The second one is Class C.
Now, Google or Alphabet has many different classes, and each one focuses primarily on a different function, but we can get way more in depth in that in a future video. So the 5th and 6th place both go to Google at 1.8% each, so about 3.6% going into Google. Next up is going to be Tesla, which was, fun fact, recently included. I think it was sometime in the beginning of this year. It was just included into the S&P 500, and it is at 1.6%, just about 1.6%. So next we have Berkshire Hathaway, that is at 1.4%. Now, if you watched our last video about what's his name, Warren Buffett, then if you did a little bit more research, you would have found out that he is actually the owner of Berkshire Hathaway. That is his company. He has made that, and it's basically a big investment, whole kind of sort of thing. So next we have at number 9 is JP Morgan Chase, which is a bank, at 1.3%. Johnson & Johnson is the 10th holding at 1.3%. So those are the top 10 holdings of VOO. So now you know what your money is going into. This is about 30% of the entire index fund. The entirety of VOO, 30% right here, is invested in these 5 companies. So
invested in these 10 companies.
Yes.
And that is as of right now, because it can always change.
Yes, it does change. So this list is not set in stone. So if you are much older and you just want to say, hey, I just need an investment that's super safe, I don't want to lose any money, I don't want to risk any money, then you can stick to any of these top 10 companies and you're going to do pretty well. Now, like I said, risk versus reward. there's a lot less risk involved here, so there's going to be a lot less reward. Whereas if you invested in a startup company, probably has a lot of risk. Anything can go wrong with that brand new company. But imagine if it turns into the next Apple or the next Google, and your $2 investment per share at like 1,000 shares turns into like $1,000 each share. That's a lot of money. So those are the holdings. Those are the top 10 holdings. Next, let's talk about the sectors. Because if you want to invest in VOO, which you probably do if you're watching this video, we need to discuss the sectors that is from.
So basically a sector is like the industry in which that specific stock falls into.
Yep. So in these industries, with all the companies listed in VOO, these are equal to however many companies are percentage-wise are invested in VOO, if that makes sense. So
the leading sector is technology.
yes, that's the one at 23.9%, basically 24%. So if you invest in VOO, 24% of your investment is based around technology. So up next is
financial services.
Yep, at 14%, basically banking. That's all you need to say. And at 13%, we have
healthcare.
Yep, healthcare. So 24% technology. I think it was 14%. Yeah, 14% in banking and 13% healthcare. 50% of the VOO is invested in these three sectors. So it's more information to where your money is going. If you're investing in VOO, I wouldn't pay too heavily on what sector it's in because VOO itself is completely diversified. So you should not be worried about sectors at all if you're investing in VOO. So another thing we need to talk about is the ratio of stocks versus bonds. So bonds is something that we haven't talked about in this video yet, in this channel yet. So we can get a little bit more into that later too. But for the S&P 500 and for VOO, it's pretty much 100% in stocks, no bonds here. So all stock. And this is a representation on your screen right now of its dividend payouts. So as you can see, from 10 years ago, it's been going up pretty consistently. It's almost doubled, which is something you always want to see. You should look for growing dividends. That means all these companies are doing really well if they're continuing paying out more and more money each and every year. Took a little bit of a hit in 2020 because of you know what. VOO is currently listed at $363 as of right now. So it's a more affordable version of the S&P 500, which is in the 5,000s per share. So keep that in mind. So in summary, VOO is just a representation of the stock market index, which is built on the United States, everything in the US, and it's going to have many different sectors weighed in different amounts. So we got primary and technology, healthcare, and financial services. So you should have a better idea of what VOO is. And if you don't, just rewatch the video. Thank you for watching today's video.
Until next time, guys. Peace.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. That's the thing. That's the thing we're gonna do. Like and subscribe. It's the subscribe button. See the red box.
Actually, you know you can
like and subscribe.